Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you own a home in Florida, your roof is your absolute primary shield, and ignoring it, well, it's just not an option. Today, we're unpacking a true survival guide for Tampa homeowners trying to navigate the daunting and, frankly, completely overwhelming landscape of severe weather, strict building codes, and those intimidating roofing costs. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First up, Tampa's brutal roofing climate. 2, spotting common roof problems. 3, strict Florida building codes. 4, navigating costs and insurance. And 5, the professional roofing process. Let's dive right in.
Part 1, Tampa's brutal roofing climate.
Standard roofing rules from up north? Yeah, you can toss those right out the window. Down here, you aren't just dealing with a little bit of rain. We're talking about a daily war on 4 fronts. You've got extreme temperature swings where morning dew is followed by midday sun that literally bakes your roof to 160 degrees. I mean, that is hot enough to fry an egg right there on your shingles. Add in that corrosive salt air if you live near the bay, and intense, relentless UV radiation that actively breaks down materials day in and day out.
But here is the ultimate threat: 130 miles per hour. You see, Tampa falls directly within wind zone 2, which means your roof absolutely must be built to withstand 130 mile per hour sustained hurricane force winds. It's not a suggestion, it is a structural necessity to survive the tropical systems that inevitably hit the coast. Moving right along to part 2, spotting common roof problems.
Listen, if you spot any of these issues on your own house, it is a giant red flag that the harsh Florida elements are actively breaking down your roof's defenses. Now, missing shingles are obvious, right? But you really need to pay attention to the metal flashing around your chimneys and vents because that stuff degrades fast under constant temperature cycling. And those dark streaks you might see, that's actually algae treating the limestone filler in your shingles like an all-you-can-eat buffet, trapping moisture and baking it right into your roof.
The crazy thing is, most roofing failures actually start incredibly small. Florida's intense sunlight actively breaks down the asphalt binder in the shingles. This leads to granule loss, those little ceramic pebbles you might see washing down into your gutters after a storm. Well, ignoring that exposes the underlying mat to direct sunlight, which basically triggers a massive domino effect of structural damage that'll eventually require a full replacement.
All right, part 3, strict Florida building codes.
Okay, pay close attention to this one because it clears up so much confusion for homeowners. It's called the 25% re-roofing rule. Basically, if a tropical storm damages just over a quarter of your roof, you can't just patch it up. By law, you are required to bring the entire roof up to current, modern wind load requirements and building codes. It's designed specifically to prevent piecemeal, Band-Aid repairs on aging, unsafe roofs.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? Well, a contractor cutting corners by using a standard northern 4-nail pattern is setting your home up for total disaster. Florida roofing requires a heavy-duty 6-nail pattern, and they have to use specific ring shank nails that bite super deep into the decking to prevent the roof from peeling off during high winds. Even the underlayment underneath the shingles has to meet highly rated specific water-resistant standards just to pass inspection. Let's talk money, part 4. Navigating costs and insurance. Looking at the numbers for a standard 2,000 square foot home, there is a pretty massive difference based on the material you choose. Asphalt shingles are definitely more budget-friendly right out of the gate, but they're only going to last about 15 to 20 years in that brutal Florida sun. On the flip side, investing in upgraded materials like metal or concrete tile is going to cost you significantly more upfront, for sure. But they handle that intense UV exposure beautifully and can last 40 to 50 years. It's a classic trade-off of short-term budget versus long-term value. And that leads us right into the million-dollar question. Well, hopefully not $1 million, but you get the idea. It causes absolute anxiety for homeowners when they look at replacement costs. Will your insurance actually cover a 20-year-old roof when a major storm hits? Here is the harsh reality of the Florida insurance market today. Insurers in Tampa are typically going to demand inspections right at the 15-year mark. If you try to stretch that asphalt roof to 20 years, actually, scratch that. If you even wait around hoping for the best, you are proactively inviting coverage denials. Even worse, your carrier might just drop your coverage entirely. You literally cannot wait until it fails. You've got to act proactively. So if you're creeping up on that 15 to 20-year drop-off, you need a solid game plan.
late fall through early spring, basically October to April, is the absolute safest and most efficient window to schedule a replacement. Once June hits, hurricane season begins. Those afternoon thunderstorms become a daily headache, and you are going to face massive, massive delays. Winter is your strategic window, hands down.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, the professional roofing process.
Look, any reputable contractor in Tampa is going to follow a straightforward, transparent 3-step process to take the stress out of this. First up, a thorough inspection, often using thermal imaging to hunt down hidden moisture, followed by a detailed written estimate. Second is the actual installation, where they pull the proper Hillsborough County permits and ensure strict code compliance. And third, the final walkthrough. And this crucially includes a magnetic sweeper cleanup because nobody wants to find a stray roofing nail with their car tire, right? But hey, here is the absolute best part, the silver lining. Doing this by the book doesn't just protect your family. It actually pays you back. By installing impact-resistant shingles and proper hurricane straps, you can qualify for wind mitigation credits, and those compound into massive annual insurance savings. We're talking anywhere from 10 to sometimes up to 45% off. That is a real game changer.
So I want you to step outside tomorrow morning, take a look up at your house, and ask yourself this one final question. If a 130-mile-per-hour tropical wind gust hit tomorrow, would your aging roof protect everything you own? Or have you been kind of ignoring the warning signs? Because here in Florida, hope just isn't a strategy. Proactive knowledge, recognizing those signs early, and respecting our brutal climate is your ultimate survival tool. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.